offsprings of the UPM members, and he was very clear in his statement that UPM is quite different from the NRM. And so we want to appreciate the UPM fraternity that are in this photo. We will now launch the two books, the memory book. Thank you very much, Albert and team. Thank you so much. We'll now launch the memory book. May I invite the family members, Mrs. Joan and the children. They will now be joined by the Prime Ministers Emeritus and the Vice President, who will witness the official launch of the memory book and reflection of resilience, a memoir by Mrs. Eriya Kategaya. We want to appreciate the virtual audience, those who join us live on television on UBC TV, and all you, our guests who are here with us. Thank you so much. We request Albert, you should also be close by to witness the signing. Our Albert and his team that were part of the content editors, and of course the Vice President and the former Prime Ministers, the Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi and the Right Honorable Chintu Musoke. In a very special way, we want to appreciate, can we applaud the President, Your Excellencies? Thank you, Your Excellency. The very first book he was launching is the memory book. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And now we will also have the First Lady, and we were indeed very honored for the First Lady to pen the foreword for Mrs. Eriya Kategaya's memoir. And we want to thank you very much, Mama, for the foreword. And those of you who have a copy of the book will, of course, see the foreword. So we have His Excellency the President and, of course, Mrs. Eriya Kategaya, who have now penned their signatures to the two books. And Your Excellency the President, you will then pause briefly for a photo after the signing with the family members and the Vice President and, of course, the Prime Ministers Emeritus who are here for a photo moment with you. May we appreciate the First Lady, ladies and gentlemen. It should be on your screens. And that particular book, the memoir by Mrs. Eriya Kategaya, has a foreword from our very own First Lady. So we want to thank you, Mama, for the foreword. I will now have the Vice President. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
That's why you freedom fighters, you should know that God is always with us also. Don't forget that. Because I had driven with Kategaya to Awere. Awere is 60 miles east of Gulu. We were going to give out guns. We had guns which we had hidden. It's a long story. You can stay here the whole day. Now we went to Awere, met Sergeant Okuya, who had a group there. But we had an infiltrator in the group of Okuya, who alerted Amin's people that Kategaya and myself were coming to Kampala from Gulu. So when we had reached Palenga Primary School, Kategaya knocked a ship. God brought a ship to delay us. Knocked the ship, the car's radiator got damaged, it couldn't move. So we didn't proceed to Kampala. We had to go back to Gulu with Jacob Okero. We stayed in the house, in the lodge for the rest of the day. Now, apparently, the other infiltrator had taken the number of the car of Kategaya and communicated with the police here, and they got the address. When Kategaya, we stayed in Guru, left at 10 in the night with a hired vehicle. He dropped me at Mulago, went to Bat Valley Flats. When he arrived, the gatekeeper said, you man, a group of people came and jumped over the fence. I tried to challenge them, they ignored me. They went and touched where your car is parked. They didn't find it there, they left. That's what saved him. The fact that the car knocked the ship and we didn't come. And so you should always see God in all these things. So, because of those problems, Kategaya had to run away. And that's how we now had to recruit Mbabazi. Mbabazi was already there apparently in our structure, but I didn't know him. But when Kategaya left, Rugunda left, Akana Pajok left, Kasada was killed, we had now to resurrect the internal structure. That's how eventually I linked up with Mbabazi and Otafuire, 1974. It's a long story, you will not. So I want to thank Joan and you people who wrote, because many of the things you are writing about, many of them I had forgotten about. And some of them I didn't even know, because when you are involved, you have one angle which you are handling, you don't know the rest. Like in today's paper, there was a headline in the New Vision. Oh, big issue, Museveni was in jail for 2 weeks in Ukonga maximum security prison. After that time, I was in luxury. Ukonga was nice, clean, and so on. Prison, all right, but clean. But I had been in prison 7 times in Tanzania, 7 other times. I think even Zindana was involved in some of them when we were locked up in Bukoba, then in other places, then Mwanza, then. So it's good that you write, you capture those stories for the young people to know. I want to congratulate Joan and the people who wrote the other book. Thank you so much. You have made a very good contribution. Even me, who was involved in all this, I am now beginning to. For instance, I didn't know that Joan is the one who saved us by ringing Sherura. The story they said they were reading here, the young people were reading. Because me, I was in paradise in Ukonga maximum security. We didn't know what was happening outside. Mama was in Nairobi. She didn't know what was happening. But somebody contacted her also through a Greek. We had a Greek who was with us in prison, who contacted another Greek, and I think they contacted you. But now Joan is now telling me, I didn't know myself for the first time that she, because after like 2 weeks they came and released us. I didn't know why. And I didn't get time to check because we were busy all the time. But what I knew in my head was that Mwalimu Nyerere was away. That one I knew when he came back. But I didn't know the details of how the Hollywood, the Hollywood operations by Joan, how she bribed a police lady who then got her out of prison and then got her to a phone, and then the phone he rang Dr. Sherura. Dr. Sherura was in Nairobi, and I had already introduced him to the director of the intelligence of Tanzania, Lawrence Gama. This is the first time I'm hearing that part. That part I never heard. So thank you so much. I think Joan should. What is the prize for literature? Or whatever they call it. Now, the other thing you need to learn about Kategaya is politics of principle, politics of aims. You must have good aims and clear aims, and also have good methods. So because our politics of the NRM have been patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. By the 1960s, we had already crystallized these principles. And that's how we worked. You remember we had some differences with Kategaya. One of those elections, we had some differences with some of the movement people. And the differences were caused by bad work methods. You must have good aims, but also good, correct work methods, so that you arrive at a decision in a democratic way, not any other way. So we had some differences with the Kategaya along the way. I don't remember which election was it, 2016, one of those. But after the elections, I met with the Kategaya and said, now, we didn't agree here, but we agree on the East African Federation. And he said, of course he agreed, because we agree on that. I said, therefore, I propose that come back and handle the East African community docket, because that's there we didn't have any disagreement. So when you are working for aims, things are easier than just working for yourself, working for, what do you call it, this ego. Things are much easier. I'm working for aims. That's why you find for us it's not a problem. Like the NRM you're talking about. We had even agreed with Obote when we were fighting in 1979. Mwalimu invited me back to Dar es Salaam. I met with Obote, and we formed a joint committee of 7 people. Obote chairman, me vice, 3 members on our side, 4 members on Obote's side, but our side had a right of veto. We had agreed. But then Obote started doing other things. During the fighting of 85, 81, 85, we formed a common front with Professor Rule, a conservative of what they call conservatives. I don't know what they are conserving, of Mengo, but because of dealing with Obote, we agreed. And we made Rule our chairman. I was vice chairman. That's how Chigongo became first vice chairman, because me, I was then first vice chairman of Rule. Only that he died just before 85, 1 year before. Otherwise, he would have been our president when we took power 86. So with Kategaya and we who know what we are doing, it is politics of aims, of mission, not politics of myself, what, no. you should also, as you study what we did, study that also. So therefore, I want to thank John for reminding us, for bringing up this idea of getting together and using this occasion to educate these young people, to pass on the story to them. I want to thank